Hello, good evening, everybody. Welcome to round number 8 of the North American Grand Prix Monday Night Open Wheel Championship, coming to you live this evening from Mosport in Canada. And the session has just switched over to qualifying, and let me welcome my partner here tonight, Brad Maris. Brad, welcome.
Yeah, thanks, Alan. So round 8 of the championship. This track here, only 10 turns on this track, but very short lap time around here. The shortest track that we've run all season. 5 rounds to go, and tonight's the night. If you're Aaron Parsons, if you're Ian Jolicoeur, Chris Moses, some of these guys behind in this championship, tonight's the night you really want to make the move because the top teams out with a little bit of weight. Looks like that could play a bit of a difference here tonight. Top teams with weight actually not looking as sharp as the guys without tonight.
Yeah, it's a good point. We talked about that in the pre-race here, and it looked like the guys without weight may actually have the advantage for tonight's race. Going to take a quick look at the track map while these guys make their way around here. Just 10 corners, some pretty famous names for this particular track. Moss, turn 6 in particular, and of course Andretti straight leading up into turn 8. Very fast right-hand sweeper corner leading onto the S's. But let's jump on board with last week's winner here, and at his home track, Ian Jolicoeur. He's got some traffic up ahead of him, not giving himself much room here.
Yeah, you're right. You have to figure, especially looking at the practice times, Ian Jolicoeur quite a bit quicker than Kevin Kirkbride, but nonetheless, he'll give it a go here, coming through turn 1 and up into this Clayton corner. Very tricky corner here. You have to kind of actually set up early, aim for the inside wall before you can even kind of see the apex. And I mean, Kevin Kirkbride's not gonna give it to you. You just gotta give a little bit more room there. But nonetheless, coming out through Quebec, a lot of these corners very rounded, very kind of the same type of corners, sweepers, until you get up here to Moss. This is where it's the tail is going to tell tonight, Al. Really, most of your speed is going to be coming off this corner right here. How can you get the acceleration down coming out of that corner? Unlike some of the GT cars we've run here in the past, now these cars actually get through Moss on entry pretty good, really. Not too many bumps. The cars are relatively settled, but getting on power, coming off down the Andretti straight, that is going to make the difference here tonight. Jolicoeur now running up again on Kirkbride, getting in his kitchen, so to speak, coming through the S's. And this complex here is going to amount for really the rest of your speed, lap to lap here. Very tricky little 3-corner complex, particularly in these cars. Always rear end, gets loose there on the final corner. But man, it's going to be an interesting test for these guys tonight, Al. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, very quick lap around this place. Just want to do a quick little adjustment here to the sound. But yeah, actually, as Zach Hefner jumps up into provisional pole with a 1:18.2. Some of these guys running quick tonight. Phil Vitt was looking very racy in the practice leading up to tonight's event, as Hefner goes green in the first sector, as does his teammate Kevin Kirkbride, but he throws it off. Hefner on a flyer now.
Yeah, I would think in the end, I don't think Hefner, Kirkbride, actually, or Samard really are going to be able to challenge for this pole tonight. Jolicoeur with the weight as well seems unlikely. But we've been seeing names like Chris Moses, like Matt Taylor up there. Aaron Parsons in that practice looking strong. And of course, you mentioned Phil Vitt looking very strong in that official practice period, Al.
You see Olsen also going green in sector 1. Let's see what Hef can do here as he comes to the line. And yeah, he improves slightly. Chris Moses was actually looking pretty racy here in practice. He's up in sector 2 and jumps up the provisional pole with the 17.9. So good lap for Moses. Trying to turn his season around here, Brad.
Yeah, quickly, and staying on Moses real quickly, it's important to get these laps in, Al, because the traffic out here can become very difficult. So that 17.9 early starting spot is very good. This grid could be very, very tight. We've seen that before on these short tracks, Al.
So stay on board with Chris Moses. Making his way through Moss Corner.
Just looking sharp in that week of practice. Not the best pace that we saw. That would go to the honor would go to Phil Vitt with a 17.4 best lap. So we know that these guys have a bit more time in it.
Taylor now jumps the provisional pole with a 17.8. I saw him go green right at the first two sectors there. It's ahead of Moses on track. Moses losing a bunch of time in the second sector.
Yeah, that is Taylor's best lap of the week, Al. So strong personal best at the right time.
Take a look at Phil Vitt here, currently back in 24th. He should jump up a little bit here, up to 6th. Let's hang on board with him. He had the quickest time in the practice sessions.
Yeah, the good news on this type of short track is you get a lot of laps in. The bad news is that you have a lot of opportunities to run into lap traffic. Slower traffic, what have you. You know what I mean.
I do.
So yeah, all these guys, a guy like Phil Vitt, look, we know that he can run in the mid-17s, right? So the longer you don't do it, the more spots you tend to lose, the tougher things get as that qualifying winds down and the pressure builds. So it's important for him to improve his position as quickly as possible.
We'll see some guys clip the dirt entering turn 6 as the exit of Moss. Don't generally lose much time doing that, trying to set themselves up wide to enter that corner.
Yeah, it really is about the exit. How you enter is not nearly as important as being able to get to the throttle and hold the traction as early as possible.
DeGrasse slips up to second momentarily. Moses now takes over provisional pole here with a 17.7 Vitt. He improves to third with the 17.8. So
yeah, there you go.
Guys showing their what they got here early on. DeGrasse looking racy. Should say Chris Moses has the track record here. We last ran in season 30 at a 1:13.4. I don't expect that to be eclipsed here tonight. But Moses generally quick around this place. DeGrasse even through the first sector.
Yeah, looks like he's backing off and set up for another lap is DeGrasse.
Yep, so DeGrasse backs out of it. Vitt now has gone green in sector 1. Samard looks like he's back there in 8th, just disconnected. Expect him to come back into the server. Back on board with Vitt. Loses a little bit of time in sector 2. Could make it back up here in this final sector through the S's.
Yeah, it might be hard to gain back all of those 4/10ths. That was quite a bit of the chunk lost there. But of course, that second sector includes that Moss corner, which can be very difficult.
No movement for Vitt. Looking further back, Kevin Kirkbride. Conditions do not adjust your TV screens. It is overcast here at Mosport, so some dry, cloudy, cool conditions here for today's race. But Kirkbride currently in 6th. Looking further back, Joe LaCour carrying 20 kilograms of success ballast for last week's win, currently in 7th. Jake Feemster put in a boatload of practice laps for this race. Nice to see. Currently, and it's paying off as he is currently in 8th. Talked about Samard back there in 9th. Exit in the pit lane. John Houston up to 10th. Under a second off provisional pole. Jesse Olsen up to 11th. Vitt again green in sector 1. Kevin Lemansky running in the 12th position. Aaron Parsons back in 13th. And this looks like a good lap for Vitt. He's looking good in the second sector. Let's go back up to him. Making his way through the S's and into the final corner is Vitt. Needs a good exit here, looking pretty good. And, 1/100th of a second off, almost 200ths of a second off Chris Moses for provisional pole. 17.768 to Moses' 17.749.
Yeah, very close to both those guys' personal best lap time, so they're on the tip.
So Kevin Miller running back in 14th. John Watson in 15th. Thomas Schubeck back in 16th. Had a bit of bad luck last week at the Norwich Sleeve. Sean Ricker running in 17th. It's a little surprised to see Ricker back where he is. It's a home track for a lot of guys on the grid tonight. A lot of Canadians on track. Greg Myers in the pit lane. David Zahn filling in for Alan Jacobs, who can't make it tonight. Currently running in 19th. Brian Story 20th. Joel Ekman running in 21st. Chuck Carter back in 22nd, followed by Ryan Robbins, 23rd. Mark Gomez running in 24th. Tom Trask, wasn't sure if he's going to make it tonight, running in 25th. Nicky Chiordia in 26th, followed by Gary Roth and David Rowley. So Jesse Olsen with a good first sector, same with Matt Taylor. Jumping on board with Jesse.
Yeah, we watched Jesse finish off his lap here. Phil Vint did manage to improve his time by 6/1000ths of a second. Not quite enough to grab that pole just yet.
So Olsen just 3/10 off in sector number
Looking
2.
good here, Al.
Looking really good, but loses a bit of time in the final sector. Jumps up to 8. Yeah, very close qualifying times. He has half a second covering first through, I guess, 8th. 6/10. Jellicoe 6/10 off in 9th. Let's see, Taylor unable to improve. Hefner also not carrying weight. Whoa, is he going to hang on to it? Barely. Had a good first sector as he heads into Moss. That was very hairy.
It really was. Hefner, one of the guys I was a little stymied by without the weight. Not showing particularly, overwhelming pace there in that week of practice. Only 10th best lap time here this week.
All right, looks like he's backing off. Taylor making his way into the S's at the end of Andretti Straight.
Former teammate, now on-track rival Chris Moses just in front.
And look at those top 3. 0.05 of a second separating the top 3 times here. Very, very close. This is pretty much up for grabs here. With 12 minutes to go in the session.
Yeah, it really all comes down to Moss, more or less, trying to, to get a perfect. You got to nail that one just right. And it's worth a couple tenths if you happen to do it right.
Kirkbride running in 7th, straddled with 55 kilograms of ballast. He comes to across the line and does not improve. Joe LaCour, the quickest of the guys with the weight, currently on an outlap. It looks like in 6th. Philippe Samard on a flyer. Currently 2nd in the championship, Drivers' Championship. Kevin Kirkbride is our leader.
Yeah, and really, if you're Kevin Kirkbride, provisionally 7th at the moment, that's not so bad. Really, running just a half second off of the Chris Moses provisional pole lap. At this stage in qualifying, I don't think you're going to be too upset with that if you're Kevin Kirkbride.
Samard carrying 40 kilograms of ballast. Has a little bit of traffic ahead of him. He's gone green in the first sector. Catching up to Gary Roth, but I don't think this is going to slow him down much.
He needs to cap off this 3rd sector, though, because time is dwindling for him, and pretty sure we know that he's got better speed. Oh, this Gary Roth is going to hurt him here. He was actually quite a bit up on his time.
Oh! And they have it coming together, yep. Oh! An incident in the final corner where Samar got getting into the back of Gary Roth. Well, took it a bit wide on exit there, which is easy to do at this place.
Yeah, Samard knew to back it off. He took a chance there that he would find a way to squeak by because his time was looking so much better. And those are the kind of risks you have to take when it gets short in qualifying. Time coming out for him, and he feels like he needs to move up the grid.
Lemansky improves to 13th, or improves his time to a 1:18 and change. DeGrasse loses some time there in sector 2. Unlikely he'll make it up here in the final sector. He does not. Oh, Taylor was looking quick, but looks like he might have had a run-in with Iggy Chiordia as they were both off track. Moses just finishes a lap. Unable to improve. Hefner, meanwhile, on a flyer. Chuck Carter testing the limits of the retain. A lot. These guys are really starting to push it now. You've seen a lot of guys throwing it off.
All right, Moses through the first sector now, but coming up to the all-important critical mosque complex.
DeGrasse looking good in sector 1. Tenths off in sector 2 is DeGrasse. Moses. He's even through sector 2. Oh, DeGrasse throwing it off. Vitt looking good in sector 1. See what Moses can do here to close out this lap.
Yeah, at this stage, you're looking for any improvement. Any, half a tenth would be, you're happy to see.
Exit for Moses, and he did not improve. So
Nope.
Just misses out.
Right, 7.5 minutes left to play. The action has been fast and furious. Guys, a few guys out there still have not turned in their best laps.
Over Phil Vitt. Currently in second and quick in the first sector. Seen a lot of guys quick in sector 1.
Yeah, the easiest sector to navigate, really, and that's where all the cars.
Ooh.
Oh no,
Well,
or maybe no. It actually did help his exit, but he did lose a little too much time setting up that time.
So under 7 minutes to go in the session. Rod chiming in on the chat. He's having some issues with his force feedback. That's never a good thing.
Yeah, but I don't know if you want to compound that by typing in on chat.
Yeah, right? Might be a good idea to figure it out.
You got a few things to worry about as it is. But hey, thanks for chiming in. Good luck tonight.
Chris Swanville, welcome. Looking forward to seeing you on track on Thursday.
Yep.
And Samard improves his time, but not able to improve his position, remains in 7th. Again is quick in sector 1. Go ahead, sorry.
Samard must have jumped up because he was behind Kirkbride a couple laps ago. When I last looked, yeah. So that's actually a pretty important move up the grid for Samard. Puts Kirkbride back to 8.
A little bit, looking like a good exit out of Moss. Loses a little bit of time in sector 2. Hefner up big in sector 1. Very nice. Through the S's and Vitt.
It's just so close.
He's not improved. He actually, I think he might have picked up time. He did pick up time. He picked up, oh no, he didn't. He remains 0.06 of a second off. Taylor, he picked up time.
Yeah.
But still remains 0.02 of a second off. And Hefner, ooh, closed up quickly on some traffic here. Chuck Carter ahead. He's up big in sector number 1. I shouldn't hurt him though.
Hefner could really spoil this party. He was looking shaky in the week of practice, but has really found some good pace here, Al.
Jumping on board with Joe LaCour. Yeah, what do you think it is, Brad? You think it's just the nature of the track, the fast sweeping corners here that
You have to get. I'm sorry, go ahead.
That's giving these guys with weight some trouble, or?
Yeah, I do. I think that's exactly it, because you can only get through the corners so well. There's only so much setup work you can do to the car, right? It's not like you can put on some trick setup. The cars will only have so much grip to get through those types of corners. And so the weight is the difference through those corners, right? The rest of it is for this qualifying, which I thought was your question. I'm sorry I interrupted you. Was you just have to get lucky through Moss, you know. And if you happen to get lucky and then put the rest of the lap together, you're gonna, it's gonna pay the big dividends, right?
My eye on Aaron Parsons here, who's back in 12, and just looking a bit off pace here.
Yeah, not looking as off pace as his teammate John Houston. I mentioned him to you in our kind of pre-race get together. Houston was just looking terribly out of sorts, but his time here not so bad.
Parsons improves his time, but not his position on track.
Yeah.
Schubeck rejoined here, so hopefully he's got his problem squared away. Ryan Robbins, that's his best time of 19 and change. So 1 second separating 1 through 13. We've seen a lot of that in the last few races. Well, not really. A little bit at the Nordschleife, but the times have relatively been close. Pretty deep into the field. As Taylor's up. Yeah, as the season's progressed, for sure. But Taylor up in the first 2 sectors, Brad.
Yeah, and looking good here to start the third sector through the S's. Still holding his time, but giving some back now, and he's back up, and I think Taylor could get it done.
He does. But Moses was quick in sector 1.
Just approaching Moss. That just popped up on Moses' screen. Now he's going to get through here, and he has nailed Moss. He's looking good here. He's got a chance, Al.
He is looking very racy here.
Yeah, he has got a chance.
He's gone green in the first 2 sectors. DeGraw just ahead.
Yeah, big pressure this last complex here.
Hefner is just finished the lap, and he's improved his time. Up to 4th, bumps DeGraw down a spot. It's looking good for Moses. Nice exit to the line. Got him! Again, 0.02 of a second. On the nose.
Unbelievable.
Oh, a minute and a half left in the session. Taylor's got it parked. He's done. He's not going to be able to get a lap in unless he goes now and really gets on it. But he might be done. I don't see him moving. Hefner.
Oh, he's going now, but it's too late.
Yeah, it's going to be too late for him. Yeah, he's parked it.
I think he went for a couple clicks on something, Al, and it just wasn't enough time.
Vitt's going to have one more shot. DeGraw on track should have another shot.
Moses done.
Moses has parked it. Samard. He's got a flyer going.
Moses actually may not be done. He may get another lap in after all.
Samar looking a little rough on the exit of Moss. Yeah, gave back some time there.
Yeah, the kind of third sectors that those guys put in, I don't see him necessarily gaining. Oh, but Kirkbride did improve his time as well. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah,
but,
I just picked up on that.
Yeah.
He bumped Samar down a spot. Meanwhile, Vitt, quick. Oh, with a big moment there for Vitt. No, he's parked it.
Ah,
He's done. See what Samard can do. He's still got time to put in one more lap. All right, clock's at 0.
boy, what a that is one hell of a stellar lap put in by Kevin Kirkbride. Now, those 55 kilos. Still not good enough. Nope.
Ooh, Hefner. He could bump Vitt down a spot.
Yeah, yeah, definitely in there
Whoa!
for the spoiler roll. Whoa, that
Really throws that rear end out.
thing about these cars is you aren't necessarily done when that happens. You can see him; he's riding it out. Oh yeah, he almost saved that whole thing. Wow.
Oh, he does not improve. Dirt tracking it around this place. McGrath does not look like he will improve. Jolicoeur's the last guy to act, just 2/10 off in Sector 2. This is Jolicoeur's home track.
Talk about a guy who can play spoiler. He is up on his time as well. I'll definitely do to pick up some positions with a good run off the final corner. Yeah.
And, ooh, he does not. Just missing out on that 5th starting position by about 100th of a second behind DeGraw. That's going to do it. Chris Moses puts a lap together here and grabs pole here at Mosport. And I know he's supposedly found some issues with his pedals after last Thursday's race, and he thinks that may have been hampering him. So it could be the case, Brad, as he grabs pole here at Mosport for the 2nd straight time, just ahead of Matt Taylor in 2nd. Pretty impressive run there for Moses.
Yeah, it really is. And I'm inclined to believe him on the pedal issue. I've had that same issue in GTR2, where it was showing the full range, everything okay, and then just not. So some weird calibration issue had crept up. And so it happens. But perhaps you're right. Whether it's that or just some extra motivation this week, I suppose time will tell. But still have yet to run this race. And boy, a lot of guys right behind looking like we've seen it, Al, race after race. That race pace tends to tighten up the field quite a bit more than qualifying. And qualifying couldn't hardly get any closer. So, wow.
Yeah, it was a pretty amazing qualifying session. As let's see, 1 second separating 1 through 13. So pretty impressive showing here by these guys here tonight. So quick rundown of the point situation here on Monday nights, as Kevin Kirkbride leading the Drivers' Championship with 131 points, followed by Philippe Samard in 2nd with 116. Zach Hefner in 3rd, suffered a DNF last week, finished a lap down at the North Sleeve with 96. Jolicoeur in 4th with 88, and John Houston in 5th with 69. In the team's point standings, podium hunters, that's Kirkbride and Hefner. They're leading with 227. French Connections, Philippe Samard and Ian Jolicoeur, they've picked up some ground on podium hunters now with 209 points. That gap was pretty substantial, but they've clawed away at it quite a bit. T-Brock Dam Bam, Aaron Parsons and John Houston, they're in 3rd with 132. Captain Clutch Motorsports, that's Matt Taylor and Mark DeGraw in 4th with 123 points. And the Taxi Service, Greg Myers and Alan Jacobs in 5th with 78 points. Real quick, if you're watching on the stream, you can bring up the Spotter's Guide. Show you every car and driver on the track, their liveries, their numbers, etc. Follow your favorite driver on track. So quick countdown here before we go green, Brad. Let's run down the starting order for tonight's round 8 at Mosport. It is going to be Chris Moses out of the USA starting in 1st, followed by Matt Taylor in 2nd. Canada's first representative here at Mosport, and third Phil Vitt, followed by Zach Hefner out of the U.S. and Mark DeGraw in fifth out of Canada.
Fellow Canadian Ian Jolicoeur starting in sixth, Kevin Kirkbride in seventh, a pair of Canadians in Philippe Samard and John Houston starting eighth and ninth, and Jesse Olsen's going to take 10th.
Jake Feemster out of the U.S. in 11th. Australia's Aaron Parsons starting 12th. Kevin Lemansky out of the U.S. in 13th. Ricker, Canadian, 14th. And David Zahn racing out of the U.S. in 15th.
Another one of those Canucks in 16th. Kevin Miller. John Wathen starts 17th. He's back there a bit. Gregory Myers is well back a bit in 18th. Thomas Schubeck starts 19th, showing good work in the week of practice, though. Brian Story in 20th.
Out of the U.S., Ryan Robbins running in 21st. Chuck Carter, U.S. as well, 22nd. Joel Ekman from Parts Unknown starting in 23rd. And a pair of Argentinians, Omar Gomez and Iggy Chiordia, 24th and 25th.
Yeah, David Rowley's going to take 26th spot. Tom Traskell starts 27th. Gary Rolfs takes 28th. And I think that's going to do it. 28 starters tonight, Al, but a relatively short, small track for 28 starters in this Ferrari 312. It is going to be one heck of a night.
Yeah, the grid used to be a lot tighter here. It's been spaced out a bit to give these guys a little bit of extra room here at the start. As the lights have come on, and we're about to go green here from Mosport. And we're away. A good start by Chris Moses as he leads the field at the turn one. Phil Vitt with a bit of a shaky moment there at the start. Oh, we got some contact. Looks like that might have been David Zahn who's gone off. It has. Oh, a bevy of cars in the back off.
I saw Schubeck into the wall coming back across the track. Don't know what precipitated it, but
David Zahn, a bunch of guys off. Robbins off. Yeah, that's the first big wreck we've seen in quite some time over here.
Zahn put in a ton of work in the week of practice. Really bad news for him.
Yeah, it looked like he had a little bit of a lag situation there as the field makes their way through Moss for the first time. Myers. These guys further back trying to catch up here. Matt Taylor getting a run on Chris Moses as they make their way into the S's.
Both these guys really need to turn their seasons
around.
Oh,
Brian Story throws it off. Let's see, is Chris Moses going to hang on to that spot? He does. He's going to lead the first lap of the race. 49 laps here around Mosport, 49 quick ones. Expect these guys to come in around lap 24, 29. These guys may run it deeper though, we'll see.
Yeah, as mentioned, both these guys at the front really looking to turn around their season, so they have to be so careful with each other here on these opening laps. Settle in the pace, try to get a gap, and then start fighting.
On board with Ian Jolicoeur. Looks like Philippe Samard has dropped a bunch of positions. He is back in 12th. So he must have got caught off. Or has gone off at some point, not sure. Jolicoeur all over the back of Zach Hefner. Oh, Jolicoeur runs it wide, trying to get it back together on track.
Parsons around at Moss, plummeting through the field.
Is that a self-induced off? I did not see it.
I think so.
Let's see, Hefner having a run on Phil Vitt.
Important points on offer here for podium hunters. Zach Hefner.
Hefner hanging on to the back of Phil Vitt. Going to look a little further back. Sean Ricker got a tight battle here between Samard, Wathen, and Ricker. The battle out front remains close as Taylor nearly throws it off. And Vitt, is he going to be able to take advantage? He cannot. Taylor got a wheel off into the grass. He's very lucky to maintain that thing on track.
exactly what you want to see if you're Chris Moses right now, especially after the nerves and anxiety and the first opening laps. But Moses, trouble at Moss.
He's gathered it back up. These guys are really bunched up 1 through 5. Zach Hefner. Phil Vitt has gotten around Matt Taylor, and now Hefner looking to get a run on. I'm sorry. I take that back. Vitt did not get around Taylor, but Vitt having some struggles here. And Joe LaCour nearly throws it off. Kevin Kirkbride's going to get past. And Olsen also with a great start here, running up to 7th. Picks up some spots.
Guys looking pretty racy early on here, Al. Not looking to kind of work into this event.
Schubeck has gotten service. He's bringing it back out as Hefner desperate to get around Phil Vitt, looking everywhere he can to make a move. Taylor has closed that gap back up to Chris Moses in the lead.
Yeah, you're really not in a bad spot right now if you're Zach Hefner in 4th. I mean, clearly you want the positions, but he and teammate Kirkbride running that back there in 5th, 4th and 5th. Both those guys ahead of rival French Connection, Joe LaCour and, of course, Simon.
So Schubeck's gone off yet again. Chuck Carter's called it a night.
Yeah, Mark DeGraw, tough luck with the wheel. Sorry about that, buddy.
So DeGraw is out. And now Joe LaCour and Kirkbride side by side. And Joe LaCour, is he going to hang on to it? Kirkbride, some contact, the two go off! Joe LaCour's got it turned around. Kirkbride is sideways across the track trying to get it sorted here.
There's almost no way to rejoin from where he's at safely.
And Kirkbride's fallen back to 17th.
But it's Joe LaCour with massive damage having to come in for a long, lengthy pit stop, Al.
Oh, Joe LaCour is in. Kirkbride looks like his suspension is drivable. So that's a tough break for Kirkbride. He's had a he's been on point this whole season. He's completed every lap this season so far through these first 7 races, and he is struggling at the moment.
It was Taylor got hit in the rear, got spun at Moss, who got plowed by Vitt.
Okay, so I see Vitt rejoining here from 8th. You're gonna have to recap that for us, Brad.
It looked like I just switched over. I think Taylor got a little loose. Hefner could not avoid, clipped him and turned him, and Phil Vitt came up, couldn't avoid a spun Hefner and T-boned Hefner hard.
Ouch. So podium hunters, looks like Hefner's back.
Yeah, damage, Al. Suspension damage for Hefner.
On board with Hef.
I thought their pace was pretty high. They were looking so racy, Al.
So, podium hunters with some issues here in the early goings, only 6 laps in. Let's see if Hefner can ride this out. We saw what DeGraw could do early on in the season with some damaged suspension, and he was running quick laps. If Hefner can avoid coming in, it's probably in his best interest.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Of course, now behind Hefner
Pit in the pits.
So John Houston has moved up to 4th as a result, and that has really helped. That helps him out a whole bunch.
So, incredible start to this race here as front runners in the team and drivers championship have all gone into have run into issues. You got Hefner running around in 3rd with some suspension damage. Moses right now being hounded by Matt Taylor. Philippe Samard back in 10th, unable to make up any positions from where he is. And our closest battle on track at the moment is that for the lead. and Moses runs it a little bit wide.
Yeah, I think looking at it, Matt Taylor looks stronger at the moment. If he were to get back in front and Moses was kind of able to get out of the heat of the kitchen, I think Moses might be able to refocus and get his lines back. But right now, Matt Taylor looking better.
Yeah, it's been some time since Moses led here on Monday night, so
yeah,
coming under some heat. The battle for 13th really heating up between Rob, Ekman, Myers. It looks like Greg is having some connection issues, and that might have been what caused that issue.
Oh yeah.
I think we might have to. Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's just a little too much, really, for safety's sake, for the guys to deal with.
I don't know if you want to jump into that Monday channel, just let them know how bad it is.
Sure, if you want, Al, sure.
Oh, and we just missed, sorry about that, pass for the lead as Chris Moses has lost position to Matt Taylor. Taylor is now your new leader. Apologize for that. We're trying to get that squared away with Greg, and that's likely what caused that first lap incident. Wasn't sure if it was Zahn or Greg that caused that pileup at the start. But it is now Matt Taylor, your new leader, getting by lap traffic of David Rowley, who was caught up in that first lap, first turn incident. And Moses got his work cut out for him. Moses could be running heavy on fuel, so it's going to be interesting to see how late Moses runs this stint for, whether Taylor's a little bit lighter on fuel as Taylor just sets fast lap of the race. Let's looking at the lap times here. Taylor last time by 1:19 for Taylor. Into the 19s, Chris Moses also into the 19s, so not that much quicker overall, but Taylor could start really ripping out some fast laps now.
I'd let them know down there, Al. It's not looking that great to me. Yeah, I think we should give him a boot. It's like he's self-booting coming into the pits.
Comes into the pits. All right, a little further back, Kevin Miller on the back of his teammate. A couple of teammates duking it out here. Kevin Miller and Brian Story. See what happens there if they actually race each other. We'll give each other a little bit of leeway here. So that gap to the lead has now increased to 1.5 seconds. Matt Taylor over Chris Moses in second. Looking further back, Zach Hefner is that lap now. 18s now for Taylor, so he's really moving. Traskell out. Hefner back, still running in third, has not pitted. John Houston running in fourth. Jesse Olsen has moved up to fifth. Lemansky running in sixth. David Rowley looks like he's got some issues. Jake Feemster, yep, Rowley's is taking it off. Jake Feemster running in seventh, followed by Sean Ricker, not far behind him. Aaron Parsons, after that off, has recovered and is running in the top 10. Philippe Samard is running in 10th, but not looking himself here, Brad, tonight.
No.
Ryan Story running in 11th, followed by Kevin Miller. Evan Kirkbride in 13th after that accident with Jolicoeur. Joel Ekman in 14th. Gary Roth running in 15th, followed by John Wathen in 16th. Omar Gomez in the last points paid position in 17th. Greg Myers looks like he is back out on track. Let's keep an eye. You want to keep an eye on him, Brad. He's running in 18th. Phil Vitt is. It looks like Phil Vitt might be done. He's back into the pits. I'm sorry. No, Vitt is back out on track. Rally is in the pits. Yoda running in 20th, and Joe LaCour, after getting repairs, is nearly 3 laps back in 22nd.
Yeah, Myers, since I've been on board here, the last half lap has looked okay. You know, that gap at the front could possibly be down to fuel weight. It's possible Taylor went short on fuel and Moses stuffed the tank and is going to run it dry. It's possible. Doesn't seem like the gap would be quite that big, but it could be.
Yeah, that's what I was speculating when you were away.
Oh, I got you.
But yeah.
Well, that's because you're so incredibly intelligent.
Yeah, right. But yeah, no, I was wondering the same exact thing. I mean, yeah, Taylor just looks very quick through every part of the track compared to Moses. So the gap is now up to 2.5 seconds. Taylor continues to pound out fast laps.
Yeah, the only thing I'll say is that Moses has not really gained much time on Zach Hefner with that suspension damage, right? I mean, you'd think that he would have gained a little bit more than a second since that happened, right? So yeah, that's a little interesting.
So Lemansky closing up here on Jesse Olsen, running in 5th. Rally is done.
Yeah, Myers' connection does seem to be cleared up for the moment. Maybe he yelled at somebody was, Netflix or something. I don't know.
Yeah, it's possible. Sean Ricker has taken it off. Oh, there he is. He's back on track, but it looks like Ricker had taken it off. Lemansky really closing up on Jesse Olsen here for that 5th spot.
Yeah, he sure is, but the gaps have sure opened up. What a change in the nature of this race we had there around lap 5 or 6 with Kirkbride and actually Smart narrowly avoided that, and Phil Vitt as well. Hefner involved. Big moment in this event has really opened up the gaps.
So best time for Lemansky 19.6 to Olsen's 19.7. Looks like Lemansky may have a little bit of pace over Jesse, and Parsons looks like he's got pace over both of them. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, Lemansky as well. You mentioned having pace over Olsen in 5th, but a bit of pace, I would say, over John Houston in 4th as well. So if he could get through to that 5th spot over Jesse Olsen, he could get up to John Houston.
Yeah, Houston running. Well, we talked about Houston before the broadcast that he looked a little bit out of sorts, but he's lucked out so far as he jumps up to 4th.
I think he found some pace in qualifying. I think there's a possibility they even made some changes to the car, because he really did not look very strong at all, and ran a good lap in qualifying. I think they may have made some last-minute changes to that machine, I'll be honest with you. But quickly going back to Kevin Lemansky, it's been a rough season for Kevin Al. We haven't seen him running inside the...
Ooh, Samard out.
Oh, that hurts.
So our championship contender, not sure what happened, but he is done from the 2nd position in the championship. He's going to come away with 0 points here at Mosport.
Oh, that's brutal for those guys, and him in particular. He's giving up some serious points now to our leader Zach Hefner, who was in danger of losing. Kirkbride, excuse me. Yeah. So big news on that front. Kirkbride only in 11th. Whew.
It's your closest battle on track currently. It is between Lemansky and Jesse Olsen. Our leader, Matt Taylor, has pulled out to a 4.5 second lead over Chris Moses at lap 18.7. And Moses last time by 120.1. So Moses continues to struggle here. Well, Lemansky, if he's going to have a look here at the end of the straight, it's going to be a tough pass to make. He's looking on the outside. Oh, touches a little bit of the grass. And he's not going to be able to get it done. Some anxious moments there for Lemansky.
Yeah, that could have gone all kinds of wrong.
Oh,
so
for
that
sure.
was pretty well saved.
Taylor resets fast lap of the race. 118.7.
I think you have to say it's down to more than fuel weight. Hefner made a bit of a mistake himself, it looks like. So
Right, has closed up on Kevin Miller for 10th. So Kirkbride was very fortunate to come away without any suspension damage from that incident with Joe LaCour, and is running currently in 11th. Kevin Miller has got it all kinds of sideways and is about to give up the spot. Potentially, nope.
yeah, you can definitely pop a motor on these arm cones. You definitely want to avoid them for that reason, if for nothing else. And yeah, if you're Kirkbride, it should just be maximum caution here with Samard going out.
At the same time, he probably he's only 36 seconds off the leader, so he's not really in jeopardy of going a lap down, but
yeah, I mean, clearly Kevin Miller does seem to be slow relative to Kirkbride, and obviously he wants that place. He's probably going to get that place. I'm just saying, no need to force the issue at all at this point.
right. So I still got my eye on that Lemansky-Olsen battle going on. Lemansky's still behind Olsen as we work lap 16 of 49. I don't understand how Miller is keeping that on track, as Kirkbride looking on the outside of Quebec corner.
Yeah, you just can't get more sideways, like corner after corner, than Kevin Miller has gotten. And again, yeah, you definitely want to make your pass on the inside if you're Kevin Kirkbride, because Miller's not.
Yeah, he's going to hip check
you.
you.
Yeah.
Oh, hip check you off track, not on purpose.
That's nice that Brian Story here next to Miller. That's interesting.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Check Story's connected here, I guess.
That's kind of the theme there for Stories. Has had his rash of connection issues in the past.
He actually was running right there. I neglected to see how close Brian Story was, but he was right behind those guys. I guess that's another reason Kirkbride maybe felt he needed to push a little bit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting what Kirkbride can do here. Miller actually keeps it tidy through that corner. And this is where he's been throwing it sideways quite a bit. But back up front here with Lemansky and Olsen. These guys still running lockstep. It's a very difficult track to overtake on. If you haven't noticed up to this point, it is, yeah, like you said in the onboard, the best opportunity is probably to run up to the entry of the S's. But even in these cars, it's quite difficult. You don't have that grip on the outside to really make something stick. We saw what happened between Lemansky and, Kirkbride and Joe LaCour.
Yeah, Miller in. So that will decide that battle for now. And yeah, and to your point, unlike we saw at Nordschleife and Spa 66, some of these other tracks, there's not as big of a draft opportunity coming off of Moss. So yeah, the passing opportunities few and far between. There's lots of opportunities if you're the guy behind to stuff one in and make a difficult situation for two guys. But if you don't do that, then yeah, it's very difficult to make a passing field.
These guys, Jesse Olsen and Lamassey, starting to close up on John Houston up in fourth. Yeah, going back to that, this corner coming up. It's also very difficult if you're trying to make a move on the outside. It's very difficult for the driver on the inside to keep it tight, just due to the nature of the car. It's just so hard to keep the car in the rear of the car in check, especially at that rate of speed.
Yeah, well, that's what we saw at the. Oh, here we go, possibly. Yeah, that's exactly what we saw at the Angela cars. Actually, at the Nordschleife, he had those pass attempts on the outside of that long left-hand sweeper. Well, it's actually a little easier in these cars on the outside because you have a little bit more of that grip to play with because you have to hold so much more grip. You have to slow down so much more on the inside to make sure you don't push out wide, right? So
let's check in with Ricker.
Oh, Ricker.
Out. Ricker is done, so that's going to move up a couple guys. I think could have sworn I saw Ricker go off earlier, so he might be continuing to struggle here. And what do we got going on here? Omar out, Greg Myers ahead as these guys coming up on Inky Chorda, who's a lap down. So it's amazing. We got, what do we have, 13 guys or something finished on the lead lap last week at the Nordschleife. Probably the toughest track to drive these cars in on the planet, and running a place like this, the Mosport, and we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, essentially 9, 10 retirements through the first 20 laps.
Look, I told you in private, didn't mention it on air, quote unquote. I put the over-under last week at like 8 drivers finishing that Nordschleife event. Not only did they double that, but like half the field finished. More than half. Unbelievable. But this, so they were obviously treating that track with a great deal of respect. But this track is very difficult. It's very tight. There's a lot of traffic coming up, and the Armcos are completely unforgiving. So it's honestly, it's not surprising. What's Meyer's competition index looking like? Is he? I know that he wasn't at the top, right? But was he still kind of in it?
No, he had a DNF somewhere that kind of knocked him out of contention.
Oh, that's too bad.
We'll touch on that here. I can bring that up.
Might be a good opportunity. Yeah. The gaps have opened up here. We still some very good on-track action and plenty of storylines to follow as this championship point situation does fluctuate back and forth depending on the moment as these drivers do have their disappointments out on track, especially tonight.
Phil Vitt has gotten around Greg Myers for 14th. Keep our eye on that gap between Taylor and Moses, now up to 7 seconds. But, yeah, through 7 rounds, Kirkbride has completed every lap so far, 277 laps, not including tonight, 1,451.751 kilometers. So for those wondering what that means, it's competition index is an award we give out to the driver who covers the most distance in a season. So we encourage drivers to finish every race. Many times we've had guys who don't necessarily finish in the top 10 or take the prize. In fact, Joel Ekman won it last year, his first season with us, and he may have had one top 10 last season. So yeah, Kirkbride leaves. Hefner is a lap down, but it's a mighty big lap. That one lap at the Nordschleife.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, 2 laps down. He lost a lap at Monaco and a lap last week. And in third is John Houston. So quite a ways off. So one caveat to that is if a driver wins a team championship or a driver's championship, they can't win both. So it's the next guy on the list. That's how Ekman got his award last season.
Yeah, and was absolutely well earned by Ekman last season. That championship did come down to the wire, if memory serves me. Just a couple races left. 1 or 2 guys in there with a chance went out, as I recall. So it's usually a pretty hotly contested battle to the end. But Lemansky making his move, Al.
Is he going to get it done? He does. So I got to run out of Moss, and that's the way to do it. It took about 13 laps, but he finally got the pass made. One little bobble there. And we'll see what Lemansky can do. It looks like he's already starting to check out from Olsen.
Yeah, that's really a hell of a pass. I mean, just in terms of a strategic standpoint, I mean, the guy has had, well, you have 10 opportunities, basically 10 corners around here to stuff it in any place you like to try, right? So it shows really amazing patience and skill to exercise that patience and earn 5th place. And why not, by the way, because you're still in great place to give a strong chase to John Houston.
Speaking of Joel Ekman, he's starting to close up a little bit on John Wathan. Wathan's got a couple second lead over Ekman. Jake Feemster running back in 16th. He's a lap down, but he got caught up in that. I believe he got caught up in that first lap incident. Yeah, maybe not actually. I'm not sure what happened to Ekman, Jake. We know Zahn got mixed up and he's out of the race after putting in so much time.
Schubeck as well got caught up in that early incident, and he also, I was going to mention Schubeck in particular, actually had put in some very nice times in the week of practice.
So we're approaching the halfway point of the race. It's 24 laps in, and we've had a few guys come in, but most came in for some sort of repair of damage, as Houston's starting to lose a little bit of time to Lemansky running in 5th, but we may see some guys begin to trickle into the pits here in the next lap or so.
It will start. They'll start to be coming in from this point on. Yep.
Taylor is going to stay out.
I think checking around the grid a little bit, the paddock as it were, I think that the play we've seen will generally play out tonight, and that is to run it as deep as you can to save that time in the pits. Yeah. I don't, Taylor doesn't seem to be doing anything special, really. Moses was running off the pace back into at least the 18s, almost mid-18s, but clearly still just not enough. Just not quite enough.
Yeah, it just seemed a little off there in that early parts of the race where Taylor was kind of locked in.
Yeah, and you have to say, if Taylor kind of continues this pace, it's hard to see Moses like clawing back into that 7-second advantage, even after stops and kind of refocusing, right? So we'll see, but it is, I think it's a big ask for Moses. I did have it on good authority that Moses was going to go with the Canadian national anthem in its entirety as he sat on the first step of the podium tonight, but you got to get there before you can have the fat dude singing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, let's hope that doesn't. I wish him all the luck here, but we may have to cut into that that rendition if it were to happen.
Yeah, yeah, like a certain real world broadcasting coverage of a particular real world race event, but that's only for us North Americans, I guess.
All right, so Ekman is in the pits. Let's see, Houston maintains that 2-second advantage over Lemansky. And Lemansky's at a 2-second gap over Jesse Olsen. The rest of the field is pretty spread out. Kirkbride has recovered. He's 42 seconds off the leader, but running pretty comfortably in 8th after his off. Looks like Story has dived into the pits. Wathan has taken over 9th, so this is a pretty good run for Story. Last car on the lead lap. Just checking Kirkbride's lap times. Low 19s. As Taylor resets fast lap of the race at 18.3. And Taylor continues to navigate around here, not coming in, working lap 27 of 49.
Yeah, 18.3, pretty stout. I mean, you're not really going to be wanting to run too much faster than that too often, because you're really going to be kind of putting yourself at risk.
As Lemansky not able to shake Jesse Olsen. Jesse Olsen continues to not let Kevin get away here. Also doing a good job in 6th. No doubt would like to get that position back, but these guys, Lemansky can close up to Houston. This battle may tighten up here between the 3.
I don't think there's any question that Lemansky will close up. I don't know if all 3 of them are going to come together, but it wouldn't surprise me either. But I think that for sure Lemansky can get that job done. Parsons, it did look like he was kind of recovering, didn't it, Al? Like he was in, but just hadn't quite made that final push to get up to that Jesse Olsen 6th place.
Yeah, Parsons was, unless he made a little bit of a mistake, he was within about 3 or 4 seconds of these guys, but he is fallen back a little bit. Around 5 seconds off of Jesse. As these guys remain out on track, so yeah, that strategy looks like it's gonna play itself out. Did you happen to find out how deep these guys can go in a full tank?
I did not. I forgot to ask that question. I'm gonna guess,
Probably 30 some odd laps, yeah.
35 something, yeah. 32, man. It's a short lap.
Ekman out of the pits. He's allowing Jesse Olsen pass. So the gaps are kind of spread out at the moment. As Taylor leads Moses in first by 8 seconds. 18 flat now for Taylor. He is not letting off the throttle here. He is really pushing lap after lap, trying to increase that gap. But looking determined here tonight is Matt.
Yeah, well, he knows as well as anybody, Matt Taylor, as veteran as they come. Moses tends to run stronger and stronger as the race runs deeper. And I can tell you that Moses has a game plan right now for whenever he does pit and come out. He has a game plan of how to run a little bit faster. But it's too little too late for Chris Moses unless Matt Taylor makes a mistake. Look, it can happen. Moss is a very difficult corner no matter who you are. And if you have to run through that thing 49 times, odds are there's a chance you're going to make at least one mistake through there. So not out of it by any stretch, but if Taylor stays strong, I don't see Moses catching him up.
Unfortunately, as we were trying to figure out that situation with Greg, we missed that overtake Taylor had on Moses. So I'm not sure if it was a clean pass on track or Moses had made a mistake. Just not entirely sure what happened there, but these guys continue to push here. I want to take a look at Hefner's lap times. 19.2 with damaged suspension. Now you look at his wheel, it's a little cocked to the left as he makes his way down the straights. Lucky for him, there aren't many, you know, the left-hand turns like this one will help him out a little bit, but he's doing a great job given the situation he's in. Now, the question is, when he does elect to come into to make his pit stop, is he going to get that fixed, or will he lose too much time?
Well, a minor suspension damage, I don't know. I suppose that's a good point. You have 10 seconds to play with in terms of gap when you look back on the timing and scoring. I say you go ahead and fix it, but if you feel you can hold the gap, maybe not. Yeah, maybe you're right.
Well, clearly he's losing out a bit too as Lemansky's starting to close up here on Houston. Clearly he's losing time to Moses in second, but he's got a 10-second lead over Houston, and that's probably going to go up a little bit as Houston has to contend with Lemansky coming up on him.
Yeah, I fix it. I definitely fix it. Good.
Ooh, as Houston with a bit of a touch of the grass, jump on board with Lemansky. Lemansky, resident, I'm not going to call him Mars, he's a track builder of Assetto Corsa tracks, probably some other sims as well, but just came out with the new Watkins Glen that we'll be running for the first time on Thursday.
It has been one heck of a dry spell for Kevin Lemansky. So 0 points in the last 3 races. I finished 5th way back there at Zandvoort 4 races ago, but was actually fairly dejected. Really, has not been all that pumped really here lately. So it's a nice comeback drive for Kevin tonight.
Yeah, no doubt, he's had some bad luck as well. So
sure,
most of some of those finishes are not of his doing. So. But Kevin does a great job with the tracks. He helps us out. Some of these other tracks that are not up to his standards, he does his best to bring them to a very high standard. He sets a high bar. He sets.
Oh yes, and don't we all know it, Al?
He certainly do.
But
it's all about the mesh.
Yeah, okay,
Everybody understands now what the mesh is. And he fixed the mesh on this track. He actually did a lot of work to this track. It's a lot better to drive now.
Well, it's a good battle for us to watch, and while he has kind of locked in, looks like he has gained a little time off of that 6th place Jesse Olsen. So Jesse Olsen becoming less of a factor as we do head into pit stop. They're actually going to be stopping pretty soon now, believe it or not. We will see them begin to rotate in for those mandatory stops.
Working lap 32. Let's see what Taylor does here. Looks like he's staying out.
He's been a bit of a mistake.
Oh, Ricker, report from the pit lane. Technical issues took him out of the race. That's unfortunate.
Oh! Get on him, Ricker. Let him off the hook. Ask to speak to those managers.
Ooh, Lemansky dives into the pits.
There you go. There's the first one.
So, Lemansky in on lap number 33. Let's see, Olsen stays out, Parsons stays out. So these guys ahead and behind Lemansky have elected to stay out. Kirkbride Stays out, and what's Watson going to do here? Watson running in the last car on the lead lap in 9th. Gary Roth with a great run up to 10th. Currently a lap down. Story having a great run at 12th. But, oh, Taylor finally comes in. So Taylor into the pits. Let's see what Moses does here. Does he elect to come in on lap? No, Moses is going to stay out. So, how are things going to shake out here?
I don't know, but I'm going to assume that this is about the limit of the car to see a couple guys come in back-to-back laps. I'm going to guess that they can't get away with too much more laps out there without taking fuel.
It looked like a pretty lengthy stop, right? Oh, not too bad. 14.9 second stop for Taylor. And he's going to come out ahead of John Houston. Just ahead of Houston. 19 seconds behind Moses.
I'll be watching that Hefner stop and see if he has added some time, which would denote some repair. He's going to have to relearn how to drive the car, too, if he does.
Kirkbride in the pits.
What a fortunate run back up for Kevin Kirkbride. I had French Connection picking up some points on podium hunters here tonight, eating into that lead, but that was looking like that's the case. Moses taking another lap.
Last time by a 19-1 for Moses, 18-1 that time by, so pretty quick lap for Moses, not far off the lead, the fast lap of the race.
Yeah.
Kirkbride exiting the pits.
Beats his best lap by a lot.
Hefner has stayed out, so yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on that gap between Taylor and Moses. It's gonna be a quicker stop for Chris than Taylor. Less fuel on board.
Fine. That's fine, but Moses needed to be turning those 18-1s, a lot earlier, a lot sooner, or at least 18-3s.
Was a long stop for Kirkbride. I gotta wonder if he elected to repair damage. He is currently a lap down. The leader still needs to pit. He may be in jeopardy of losing his lap. Losing a lap, I should say. Moses stays out again.
Wow, I'm actually really surprised by that. I would have thought with both those guys coming in back to back that was about the limit of what you could do with the fuel.
Hefner's elected to stay out also.
Yeah. Yep. So apparently they can at least go to lap 36.
You know, Houston has to come in again. Olsen dives into the pit lane.
Yeah, he does. I just don't understand those guys that stopped 3 or 4 laps ago. Why? I mean, you'd want to take the short fuel, stop just halfway, take as short a fuel as possible to start, or just stuff the tank full. You don't want to go like halfway between halfway, right?
Right. Well, I guess that's the thought perhaps is, you're lighter on fuel, you can run quicker laps and gap the guys that are running heavier fuel. But given the way this race has gone, it looks like Houston's starting to close up on Taylor. But given the way this race has gone, that doesn't seem to be the case at all.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I don't know. So that must have been.
Yeah, Moses still on lap 37, has yet to pit, as has another guy. A bunch of guys have yet to pit. Oh, Houston now dives in. And we suspect his teammate will follow suit. Question is, will Lemansky and Olsen beat Parsons out of the pits? Watson still has to stop.
And Parsons taking another lap.
Aha. So this is going to help Parsons and the guys who have yet to stop, like you mentioned. Gap now just about 21 seconds. Moses over Taylor. Well, he's staying out. What a drive. I can't get over the drive Hefner's put in. Running in that third. Well, currently second, but with suspension damage. Yeah, if it wasn't for DeGraw who managed to pull it off.
Yeah, showing the way, right?
Showing the way, exactly. Yeah, Hefner probably would have come in right that lap after he had the damage. So you know it can be done. You can you can run quick with the suspension slightly damaged.
Yeah, Moses now into the 17s that last lap by, and Aaron Parsons is
Taylor with a 17.9 best lap.
Yeah, a little too late for Moses. You need to be, look, if you can run 17.9s when you're out of fuel, you could be running 18.4s, when you have half a tank, right? So.
Did Hefner stop already? Got a 24.9 last time by, so he must have made a mistake somewhere.
Yeah, that's definitely more of a mistake type of situation than it is a stop.
So Houston comes out just ahead of Lemansky. Oh, Lemansky takes it off into the wall.
Oh!
Hard into the wall.
Oh, feeling the car out. And Wathan flashes through for the virtual fifth, because I don't think Wathan has come in yet.
Unbelievably, I think the car is straight for Lemansky.
Wow.
Lemansky's got a big gap over Jesse Olsen.
Yeah, it is. It is a big gap. So Olsen obviously did not. He must have had a bad stop or something, right?
Yeah, I would guess Olsen must have had a bad stop. Because after that spinorama by Lemansky, he is still out there on track. And luckily, came away without any suspension damage. There must be a safer barrier he's stuck in there. But Moses continues to increase that gap to third. And Taylor is pitted from the lead. He suspect to Taylor to take over the lead once Moses decides to come in, but it's looking less and less likely here. Stop should be around, 12 seconds? Maybe? 10 seconds worth of fuel?
I'd
Pretty short pit lane?
I'd say more like 12, but look, Moses has not lost any time, right? And he's looking like right now he's going to be gaining a few seconds with his pit stop at least. So if he rotates back out, just with that time, it's going to be 5 or 6 seconds, all other things being equal. But there's 9 laps left to run, right? So he's going to have to do better than what I'm seeing, what I'm thinking.
Coming up on some lap traffic here, Gary Roth. Now may there be the time to come in. Nope. Gonna stay up. Oh, we got Giordia. Well, somebody had it turned around in the back there. I think that might have been Story, yep. Wow, these guys really. Yeah, Moses losing a little bit of time getting around some lap traffic. Well, Taylor's going to have to contend with the same traffic in a little bit. Well, not so much. He's 20 some odd seconds back. Oh, Taylor, a close call there, nearly threw it off track. So Parsons, we know, has pitted, right? So he's starting to come up on Jesse Olsen. That gap is 3 seconds. Watton has yet to pit, I believe.
You know, I said it's a mandatory pit stop, but that that's not the case anymore.
That's not the case on Monday nights, no.
No, and I knew that, but I kind of said mandatory pit stop, thinking that this season guys were, it wasn't going to be possible. But
I think in Monaco, there was one track where you may have been able to make it the whole way. Moses in, sorry.
I was going to say, there's no way. I mean, Moses and fuel saving, you do not go together.
Oh, he overshoots his pit box.
Oh, God.
That might be the cushion Taylor needed. Moses away, quit stop.
7.2.
Taylor going into turn 1, Moses. Just exiting the pits now.
Well, 7.2, jack to pavement. Pretty damn good, more than I thought was gonna be. So
picked up about
even
4
with
seconds.
Yeah, even with lost about a second there just in the turn 1, trying to get around the lap traffic there. So yeah, pretty big time gain, really. It's still not gonna be enough, but
10-second stop for Hefner.
Yeah, so that's some damage fix, and really, why not? Why not go ahead and make it safe, right?
Yeah, he had the cushion.
Let's see where Wathen shakes out at here as he has finally come in.
He's going to rejoin.
He's running 10th for the pit stops. Didn't start to cycle through.
Looks like he's going to come out ahead of Kirkbride. Maybe. Kirkbride making his way through turn 1, and Wathen just exiting the pits, and Kirkbride's got him. So Kirkbride takes over the 8th spot.
Yeah, that was close, no doubt about it. But still a position or 2 gain for John Wathen, taking it very deep. And a pretty good run.
Yeah, and a lot of traffic ahead of these guys. On board with Wathen. These guys got to navigate their way through Gary Roth and Ian Jolicoeur. Oh, Wathen may get a run on Kirkbride here. Got a good exit out of Moss. It's a drag race down to the entry to the S's. Wathen elects not to push the envelope.
I wonder if Wathen's a guy you really want to be playing around too much with. You aren't sure if you can match his pace for sure. He's not the type of guy I don't know that you really want to be playing around with, because when he has shown good pace this season, he's shown pretty good pace.
Hey, Jack Ivy checking into the chat.
Nice.
Jack.
Thursday night co-host extraordinaire Jack Ivy.
Fan favorite.
He's my favorite. I mean, you know, one of them.
Calls him how he sees him.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
what we love about Jack.
Raw and unfiltered.
Right.
Jack Ivy, Thursday nights.
Looks like Kirkbride may have Wathen covered here. He's starting to slightly pull a gap on Wathen.
Yeah, good news if you're Kevin Kirkbride.
Oh, Moses looks like he's made a monumental mistake. and has given up about 13 seconds to Matt Taylor. So that's probably going to do it tonight for Moses, unless Taylor finds a way to shoot himself in the foot here.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I would make a pretty large wager on Taylor finishing this thing off. But if you're Zach Hefner with that damage fixed, you got to be thinking, hey, wait a minute here. I can do something. Maybe Moses got a little damage up there.
Let's jump on board. So we can tell if Moses got damage or not. Doesn't look like it. But whatever he did, he lost a boatload of time.
He came out in push mode, and I mean, the car should not be that much different. It's not like he had to take on that much fuel, right? So about 9 laps worth is not going to equate to too much weight back on the car.
It looks like he's sparing us from hearing the Canadian national anthem.
Yeah,
sung by him.
Yeah, his last rendition, if memory serves, was really not all that great. So
it was painful.
Yeah.
But Hefner now starting to inch closer to Moses here. Hefner is running in third, just about 2 seconds off of Chris. Working lap 45. This race quickly winding down here.
Yeah, Zach Hefner, unlike teammate Kirkbride, really can push quite a bit harder, as let's say less to lose. I mean, kind of. He does. You can kind of, go for this, and who knows? If you can push past Chris and Taylor has a problem, you can't finish first if you're not in second, right?
That's a good point. Continue to follow Watson here as he's trying to reel Kevin Kirkbride in, a championship leader here on Monday nights. So quick recap, Kirkbride got tangled up with Ian Jolicoeur entering the S's at the end of the Andretti Straight. Both of them went off. Jolicoeur suffered some significant damage that forced him into the pits to repair his car, and he's actually made up a lap. He was 3 laps down, but we're running in the last points paying position in 16th, 2 laps down.
That's a good point, actually. I did notice he was running 18th, and yeah, I mean, shoot, that's, when you're looking for every positive you can take out of a night that's otherwise disastrous, got to say you did what you could.
And he is quick. He just ran, set his best lap, a low 18, so.
Really changed the complexion of this race. If all those guys, Samard and Jolicoeur and Kirkbride and Hefner, were all still toward the front, we'd be talking about different storylines. Put it that way.
Just a handful of laps here to go. Our leader, Matt Taylor, followed by Chris Moses in second. Zach Hefner running in third, trying to take that second spot away from Moses. Laps running out though. John Houston running in 4. Kevin Lemansky nicely running in 5th, followed by Jesse Olsen in 6th. Parsons 2 seconds off of Olsen in 7th. Kirkbride trying to fend off John Watton. Kirkbride in 8th, Watton in 9th. Hang on here. Does it look like Watton's going to be close enough to make a move on Kirkbride?
Watson did turn the best lap of the race for him. Last lap, and at 18.8, pretty respectable.
Evan Miller in 10th, followed by Phil Vitt, who got caught up in some trouble early after qualifying in 2nd and 3rd. Running in 11th, Greg Myers 12th, Gary Roth in 13th, Teamster in 14th, followed by Ekman in 15th, Jolicoeur in your final points paying position, and Giordia 17th, Story 18th. As Vitt now making a move on Kevin Miller. Whoa! That was a little bit hairy for Vitt, but he held it together.
Yeah, it has been a long road back for Phil Vitt after that initial wreck. It has been a long night for a couple of these guys.
He's not giving up here. Still one more lap to go. And a bunch of traffic ahead of these guys.
Yeah, no, you can easily get that 10th position. It's right there in front of him. Got three laps, 3 different laps, all kind of on track together.
Kevin Miller continues to hang the rear of that car out. Most of these corners. Oh, this might pay off for Vitt here. He's going to get a run on Kevin. Take 2.
Take 2 is right. Set up on the outside last time. Get up there again this time. Look a little bit better this time, Al.
He's got a shorter 5th gear. A 4th gear, I noticed. Oh, Vitt! Oh, throws it off. Keep it off the wall. Just hung it a little too late.
Yeah, fortunate that sand and grass quite a bit grippier than it was. Well, let's say last time the GT cars raced here.
So Matt Taylor now working the final lap of this race. On to the Andretti straight for the last time. Taylor he had pole at Mosport, but just has not had, or has he? I don't remember. Yeah,
no.
had pole at Mosport, just has not had the results he has hoped for this season. At a DNF at Zandvoort, DNF last week at the Nordschleife, but has turned it around here at Mosport to take the win impressively here. His first win of the season. Chris Moses. Looks like he is going to hang on to that 2nd position ahead of Zach Hefner. Hefner's going to come home in 3rd. John Hewson going to end the night here in 4th. Lemansky was threatening there, but off. Dropped Lemansky back, lost some time to Houston, so Lemansky's going to finish here in 5th, given he can keep Olsen behind him here through these last couple corners. Yep, Lemansky's going to hang on to that. Jesse Olsen's going to take 6th. Aaron Parsons going to come home in 7th. And Kevin Kirkbride looks like he's going to fend off and hang on to that lead lap. He's going to fend off Watson, who takes 9th. Last car on the lead lap. Good job by those guys. Let's see if we can get Matt Taylor in here, our winner. Matt, do you copy?
I got you.
Oh, congratulations, buddy. It's been a while. You had some struggles here this season. Couple DNFs. That pole you had at Monaco kind of caught you off there at the start, but turned it around here tonight. Qualified in 2nd, very close to Chris, 0.02 of a second off of Moses. But man, great race. You really put the pressure on him early. And I got to ask you, we kind of missed your pass there on Moses, dealing with some other stuff, but just let us know. Was it a mistake? Was it a pass on track? How'd you do it?
Not really a mistake. It looked like Moses was definitely a little heavier, and I got a run on him down the back straightaway, and he'd been struggling keeping it on the apex, and so I took it to the inside, and looked like we gave each other plenty of room, and it was a nice clean pass, and I just tried to pull away from there because I knew I was going to need it.
Yeah, not too surprising that you guys would keep it clean. So I'm glad it was, and congratulations on the win. You know, Matt, your team, we hadn't had a chance to talk to you in a while, really, but your team was one that I had certainly pegged, you know, preseason and the first couple of races really to make a run at this championship as a serious dark horse contender. Things have kind of gone awry for you a little bit, unfortunately, but honestly, with the win here tonight, Kirkbride struggling a little bit. There's 4 more races left to go in this championship. Do you think there's, an outside shot for you to get back into this thing by the end of the season?
I don't know. It's a really good start. It's going to be hard to catch those guys. Mark and I have both struggled with our own technical issues. Mark tonight even had a wheel issue. He ended up spotting for me, which was really nice to have. You're just going to have to run as hard as you can and finish as well as you can and see how it shakes out.
So, quick question though. Were you a little? Moses really ran it deep. I mean, how we had all concerned. He pitted a bunch of laps earlier than him. We had all concerned about the time he would make up in the pits, or did you feel you had him covered?
I felt like it was going to be close. I was really patient early on, and once I got around him, I really tried to gap him as much as I could while staying consistent. And I just didn't quite know where the delta was going to shake out. I was hoping I'd come out in front of him, and did, not by much. So it was going to be close.
Well, we trapped. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
It looked like he made a mistake there down the stretch, and that kind of settled it, I guess.
Well, we head to Monza 66 next week. Should be a good showing for you there. I know you're pretty familiar with that track. The weight, don't know how it's going to play out there. Probably won't be too bad. But, yeah, like Brad said, you think you can take this momentum and carry it over to next week and try and, clog back into this thing.
I sure hope so. I feel really good about the direction it got the setup going after tonight. And kind of like you guys said, weight doesn't seem to be huge, whereas in past seasons you wouldn't want a bunch of weight anywhere near Monza. So, go out there and see what happens.
All right, Matt. Well, congratulations on a big win here tonight. It's been a long time coming, and good luck next week.
Thank you, guys.
Wow. There you have it, Brad. Matt Taylor bringing home the big win here tonight, edging out Chris Moses in second. And Hefner with a great drive for third with the suspension damage early on in that. Well, I should say early on. Well, he developed it early in the first stint, but made it a bunch of laps here to the end. But nonetheless, great showing by Matt. Kind of field was kind of spread out for a little while there, Brad, but things kind of tightened up there at the end.
It was the night where we saw some gaps open up. That's going to happen occasionally. No big deal. And frankly, you kind of maybe expect it on a track like this. So that was fine. It was, some guys did exactly what they needed to do. Yeah, it's almost an impossible task if you're Matt Taylor, if you're Chris Moses, even Aaron Parsons or John Houston to recover those types of points. But if you're going to try, this you got to try, right? And so they had as good a night as they could have had, whereas the top guy slipped off. Samard, he's given up a boatload of points, and frankly, that championship is looking quite a bit dimmer for him with that retirement here tonight. But Kevin Kirkbride, rather, he had his problems, and he battled as tough as he possibly could to finish 8th. I think that was, with his problems, the best he could possibly have finished, and you cannot do anything better than that. You have to be happy with the result if you're Kevin Kirkbride. So a pretty good race. I enjoyed this one quite a bit, Al. So looking forward to next week at Monza as well. Should be another barn burner.
Definitely one of the drives of the night there was Kirkbride after his incident early on. But yeah, Samar, that championship looking less and less likely now after that DNF here tonight. But we'll see how things shake out. Still, 4 or 5 races to go. 4 to go after tonight. So, still time for guys to make up some ground, and mistakes can happen. So, but that's going to do it for us here tonight. We're going to be back Thursday night with Jake and Jack from the all-new Watkins Glen circuit done by Kevin Lemansky. So excited to run that one there for the first time. So if you guys can tune in for that, that'd be great. Starts at 9 p.m. Eastern. Until then, we'll be back next Monday night at 9 from Monza. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in, and I hope to see you all next week. Have a good night.